Hello, everybody. Welcome to Working Man Investor. On my channel, we discuss different economic issues and financial stresses that the average working man and woman deal with on a daily basis. We try to come up with ways to improve our lives financially and protect our families financially. Today's episode, I'm going to discuss something that's really important to me, side hustles. I'm going to define what a side hustle is, different strategies you can use, and I'm going to tell you a story of a personal story of what my wife and I did with our side hustle, with the hopes that it helps shed light for everybody and gives everybody an idea of what the side hustle can do for you, not only financially, but for mentally. So a side hustle is anything that you do outside of your normal job that produces income. This can be working as a cashier at a gas station, Ubering, door dashing. All of these are fine, but I think the issue with that is it's just a second job. You're not going to get off your main job and be like, man, I can't wait to get on my next job here and deliver these guys their hamburgers, or to take money for these gas pump for these people at the gas pumps. You're not going to be excited about that. Now, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do, and I give you credit for it. So I'm not knocking it, not at all. I'm just saying a side hustle, I think, to me is more something you're passionate about, that you're excited about when you get off of work. I'm going to go home and build this. I'm going to go home and make this. So any skill or passion that you have that there's a market for is a side hustle. By market, I mean somebody or multiple people are willing to pay you money for this, either the service you're providing or the product that you're producing. Now, a side hustle can be anything. I don't care what it is. If you're passionate about baseball cards, there's a market for that. If you're an expert in something, you're going to make money in it. So if you can figure out what baseball cards are the hottest, where to acquire them at a good price at wholesale and resell them to a customer base that you've established and make a profit, and then use that money to better your life financially, that's a side hustle. It can be anything. So to get into my wife and I's story, it was back in 2014, so about 10 years ago, and we had just built this house that I'm speaking to you from right now, and everything was going well. My wife comes home from work and tells me she got laid off. That was stressful. Fortunately, we had an 8-month emergency fund, so we weren't too worried. But when you lose your job, it's anybody that's gone through that knows it's hard. So the first thing that we did is we checked our mental mindset. That is so important. I told her, and she agreed with me, that we need to somehow take this negative thing of you losing your job and turn it into a positive. As long as you have your health in life, I believe you have everything you need. So if your mindset is, I'm going to take this bad situation and somehow make it better to benefit my life, you'll be better off in the long run. May not be easy, might be hard, you might not see how it's going to work out, but if that's your mindset and you work towards it, take steps towards it every day, you can do that. So the biggest concern, since we had the 8-month emergency fund, was with her being unemployed, was what is she going to do to keep her sanity and keep her mind off of it. The good news was we were pretty sure she was going to get called back. So we looked at a few things, but they were kind of like what I discussed earlier, just kind of a second job. We weren't desperate. We just needed she wanted some kind of an income, something to make her feel better about herself. So she came to me one evening and said, I just watched this YouTube video on making wreaths, and I think I can do it. I said, okay. Well, go for it. She went out to the store, bought the products that she needed, came back, went into our spare bedroom and started making this wreath. About an hour went by, she came out with this really nice, really pretty wreath. I believe it was a Christmas wreath. And I was like, wow, that is really, really nice. She goes, yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm going to go make more. I'm going to go for it. It's good for you. So she went and made 3, 4, 5, and every one she made, like anything else we do in life, the more we do it, the better she got. So these wreaths are getting nicer and nicer, and she's kind of finding her style, what works best for her. And she's hanging them on the door and showing them to friends and family. And all the friends and family just said, it's really nice, really pretty. Well, that's what friends and family are supposed to say. So we kind of not really took it with a grain of salt. It still made her happy, but we didn't get too excited until, like I said, we just moved into the neighborhood. She's hanging these different wreaths on the door, and these neighbors who we haven't even met yet are coming up to us and stopping us when they see us outside saying, "Hey, where did you get that beautiful wreath?" At that point, along with the fact that she'd made so money and was overrunning the closet in the spare bedroom, we kind of just decided we need to see if there's a market for this. So we went to Facebook Marketplace, and she posted pictures of about 5 or 6, and they sold. And they sold quickly, and they sold at a nice profit. Not only did they sell at a nice profit, as we did some further research, we found out we were underpricing these wreaths by about $5 to $10, so there was even more money to potentially make. So at this point, I kind of just realized, you know what? You didn't learn a hobby. You actually learned a skill. And all my life, I've been thinking, learn a skill, become an electrician, become a carpenter, become a plumber. And do that, by the way, if you're unhappy in your career and you're young enough and you want to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But a skill can be anything. It can be, like I said, it all comes back to, is there a market for it? Are people going to buy from you what you're producing? Well, wreaths, there's a market for it. So we took the next step. We didn't want to spend a lot of money, obviously. She set up a Facebook page, named the business, put it up on Facebook, had our friends and family like the page with the hope to generate more traffic. And it did. And they sold. We were selling these wreaths. So now we're like, okay, we've got a legitimate business here. Let's take another step. Do you want to do craft shows? So she was all excited. I'm like, okay, let's try this. So we went to Google. We Googled craft shows in our area, and we're ecstatic to find out they're all over the place in the spring, summer, fall, up to about Christmas, and they stop. And from January to April, not much. But this was the summer. So this is perfect. So we started to apply to these craft shows. Some had fees of $20 up to the bigger shows, $400 or $500. But the ones that had $400 or $500 to get in brought in foot traffic of 250,000 people. Huge shows. That was scary. So she made a bunch of wreaths, and we started off slow. We didn't buy a lot of supplies. We went to Costco, bought a couple of tables, and we just laid them on a table. And we learned. We talked to other vendors. We learned how to set up a display. We learned what kind of tent we needed to buy for outdoor shows, the pop-up tents. And we networked, which is so key to building anything. We networked with other vendors, and we found out other vendors were so happy to help us and tell us, yeah, stay away from this show because it's not good. They don't advertise. This show is great. We've always done well there. We think your product was good, and we would go try it. So we kept doing this. And we've been doing this for a decade now, and every year our profits seem to just keep ticking up. Now, it's not something that's made us rich beyond our wildest dreams or anything like that. And she did eventually get called back to work, which was great because her income came back through her W-2 job. But now we had this little side hustle. We made enough money on the side hustle to pay for vacations, remodel the house, and take some money and invest it. We bought an English bulldog with the money. It has greatly increased our life. And we don't, it's not a second job to her because she's passionate and because she loves it. That's what I really want you to take out of a side hustle. Because we all hear this. I've heard people struggling and stuff. I thought, well, maybe you need to get a side. Well, I shouldn't have to do a side hustle. Well, you're right. You shouldn't. You work 40 hours at a W-2 job. I agree with that. But you know what? You're struggling, so you got to do something. You might as well do something you love on the side to get paid as opposed to getting a second W-2 job and being miserable. You can do it. It's a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding. It really helped not only her mental health and mine, but it set off a light bulb with me. I was like, you know what? All my life I've been thinking I just need my W-2 job to make money. That's not true. I have the ability to do other things that will generate income for our family, which has led me into other phases of life of investing in real estate and other investments that I've made. This was all off of the knowledge I gained from the side hustle. So I want to keep this video really short. This is going to be the first of probably 2 or 3 videos. I'll make a playlist for you guys. I want to touch on a few other things and the other positives of having a side hustle such as this. I hope that the example gave you an idea of what I meant, and maybe even gave you an idea. If it gave you an idea, make a comment down below on my video, and I'll answer you and see if I can't guide you in the right direction, especially if it has something to do with craft shows, because the whole setup is nationwide here in the United States. Is all about the same. And I'll see if some of my knowledge can even help you with that. Let me know what you guys think. Take care.